Right, how we doing, guys? It's 11:45 on Friday, the 21st of June. I've got 2 days, well, Sunday morning we head off to Ireland on the first bike trip of 2024. Little warm-up trip, 1 week. 4 mates going, and then got some bigger trips lined up later in the year. So I was just out checking all the stuff on the bike, and I thought I've had a couple of requests for what gear do I take kind of video, and I thought no better time than the present. So I'm going to do a real quick walk round of what I've got and what I usually take, and then I'll fill in, if I can't remember the descriptions of stuff, I'll put the descriptions in the video so you can see what I take and what I would recommend that I use. So, cup of tea. Let's have a look then. So I run the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S 2018. This is the first adventure bike I've had and the only adventure bike I've had, and love it, pretty good. I had a few problems with the high-speed wobble and various other niggles with it, but finally got all that sorted out with changing tyres and head bearings being changed and various other things. So that's been pretty good to me. The only changes I've made to the bike are I put on the extra bars down here, just in case I chuck it over, which it has been in a few ditches when I've left it on hot tarmac. It came with a aftermarket Aquapovic exhaust, which is great. And I've put the Denali headlights on, which are really good for nighttime, but I haven't managed to wire them into the high beam thing yet. Apparently they brought out a new trigger that will allow me to do it. I've got a little switch at the minute, which is a bit of a pain in the arse actually. Switch is here. Toggles on and off, but it's a bit of a pain in the arse. So I'd really like to try and get that wired into the high beam, because that'd be much better. Anyway, right, moving on. So that's the bike, and then I've bought I think it's the Touratech pannier rack system. I'm not sure. It leaves a bit to be desired with this massive gap down the side of here, which makes this side stick out loads, which is not ideal, but hey ho. That's what you get. I did have the, I think it's the 40 litre on that side, and then the 30 litre, which is what I've got over here, on the other side. But it was so wide, I couldn't filter through anything, and it's just massive. So I've ended up putting the 30 litre back on the left-hand side, and then I've bought this Krieger pannier bag, which has worked really, really well. Comes with this panel rack thing you bolt on the side here. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And the Touratech top box, which this has worked really well. It's probably, you know, as good as any, I suppose. Really solid. As I say, this bike has been over. When we were going around the Baltic Sea in 2019, I think it was, we got stuck at the top. One of the guys had a flat tyre on one of these gravel tracks in the top middle of nowhere in Estonia, and we all parked up, and I put mine on the edge of the road. Walked back, I don't know, half a mile to go and find the guy and help him out. And then when I got back, my bike was gone, but the side stand had sunk into the tarmac, and the whole thing had just rolled into the ditch. So she was sitting there belly up in the ditch. Luckily, I bent a little bit of one of the panniers, which took a bit of a whack. I think it was this pannier box. I bent inside here, yeah, in here. It crunched the pannier into the frame a little bit, but apart from that, it's good as gold. So really, really happy this bike can withstand just rolling into a ditch. The screen didn't get done or anything, so that was really good. So, general clothing, I run a Revit. So I've run a few jackets, but I'm currently on a Revit jacket with a meshed front. I run motorbike jeans, which maybe leaves a bit to be desired in terms of safety, but they work for me, and I just try not to crash. I run the Alpine Star boots, which have worked really well for me. I did have some bigger boots, but I just found them too hot and too clumpy when you get into warmer countries. So these work really well because I can walk around everywhere, and I can use them as evening trainers and everything. So they work all good all-rounders. What else we got? So that's that, and then I've got my helmet, X-Wed 2. Sort of an adventure kind of type helmet. I've got the GoPro mounted on the front, and the Senna 20S Bluetooth, which has done 25,000 miles so far, so it seems to be okay. I mean, it's It's had plenty of rain in it. I had to keep the charging bung fell out and the wires keep snapping, so I have to keep taping them to stop them wiggling in the wind. That works pretty well. I have to have the sun visor because in hot countries you just want to ride with the sun visor, which is a real contention of mine, which I know is a safety thing, but the Shoei, which I really like Shoei helmets, I ride those on my motocross bikes, they don't have an integral sun visor in their adventure helmet because of safety, and it makes it a much safer helmet without it, which I imagine is true, but I don't know, just you have to have a sun visor. Anyway, right, T. So other things on the bike, I have a quad lock for my phone, in case I want to stick my phone on, something happens to my sat nav, or I want some finer directions using the phone. Generally, I use the phone for pulling us right into remote spots when the sat nav just generalises everything. I've got the Garmin, hold on, sat nav mounted nice and high. I think it's the Zumo, don't know what model it is, but anyway, that works well. And I've got the KTM dash, and then if I need it, I stick my phone on there, and that gives me all the things I might possibly want, which is great. And then I've got a GoPro Max mounted facing backwards, or using it in 360 mode for taking some of my footage. I have a GoPro remote down here which links all my 3 cameras together, the one on my chin and the one on the front here, the Max, and my Mini, which I run on the back here just to get some different diverse shots. A lot of people use the 360, like Insta 360 I think they call it, on a big long stick, and they have it sticking out, and it's another element in the editing process which just makes I've got to go in, I've then got to like edit the 360 videos before I can then publish them as normal videos, and it's just give up with that. So I just shoot the Max now in normal mode. Might get back into the 360 at some point. Yeah, so I've got the 3 cameras running on the bike, sat nav, Garmin, and the quad lock for my phone, and then I've got my tank bag, which I try not to have too much gear, but I can't help it when I'm running cameras and everything. So I've got the charger which goes in the cigarette lighter thing on the bike, which is great. That then charges 2 battery packs. I've got the one for the GoPro Hero and the one for the Max, so they're running. A hat for when I'm out and about, and then I've always got a couple of battery banks in here. I've got one for my phone, so I try and charge that while we're on the move, so I'm never out of juice on my phone, because the 2 charging points for the off the cigarette lighter are charging my camera batteries, which is essential if you want to be running footage all day. I carry my Pocket 3, which is what I'm shooting on now, in the tank bag for shooting stuff off the bike, which is a new thing this year because I didn't do that on my last trip. And then I run another charging bank thing which charges my GoPro. A little bit of tape on there so I can stick this in here, and then I can whack that in, charge that, and I can still lift my tank bag up. So I can still open my top box while it's charging, which is handy. And that's that one. Tank bag, spare buff in the bottom there, and some wet wipes. I always like those, using those for cleaning my visors, wiping your hands, whatever. It's just always handy. And then I've also got my shades in here, and then I've got some painkillers, like a penknife, sort of spannery, pliery things, like a Leatherman but cheap crap. And then some knives and forks if I ever needed them. And then that's it on the tank bag, and that clips off, that unzips. So that pretty much goes with me everywhere I go. I try to put all my camping gear in the one pannier, so if we're not camping, I haven't got to mess around with that bag at all. So in here, I have got my sleeping bag, my small lightweight one, because I can't fit my big one in at the minute because I've got too much crap. So that's a Berghaus Intrepid 700. That's the Berghaus Intrepid 700, which is too small, too thin, too cold. So don't buy that one. And then the tent pegs, I always have these separate, so I don't avoid too much. And then my Hilleberg tent, which I borrowed off my brother. So that's about £1,000, which I wouldn't buy normally, but it's really good. Tent pegs. And then I normally carry a set of thermals in here, just in case the shit hits the fan and I get stuck somewhere, or I just get really cold when I'm riding. A spare pair of winter gloves, because I'm generally wearing summer gloves, which I've currently got my brand new KTM ones I bought the other day when I had the bike serviced. See how we get on with those. First aid kit, again, the stuff that I don't have to get out all the time. I'm carrying the pump, so one of the other guys has got the puncture repair kits. And then I've got a small bag of tools, which is mainly my sort of KTM tools that go with the bike or fit the various things. A bit of rope washing line for when you're hanging stuff up in campsites to dry out, which is always handy. A few electrical bits, a few zip ties, a bit of tape, mainly zip ties. That's the usual sort of essentials. I don't bother carrying too much, because if you get really broken down, you just try and find someone to help, really, isn't it? So, right, I won't put that back in there for a minute. Normally, I'd get my sleeping mat in there as well, which I used to use a Thermarest Nero Air, which was fine. This was fine, apart from it now deflates and it crinkles to hell, and it's a pain in the ass to inflate. So it was doing my head in. I did have, which is now what's on the bike, I'll find out the make and I'll stick it in the video as it goes along, but one that has like a slight amount of foam on it that really gives you that extra bit of comfort, which I really, really like. But you can't roll it up, you can't double it up half and half and then roll it completely flat and get it in your panniers, which is not ideal really. But I don't really want to buy another one last minute without looking into it a little bit. So I've put this one back on the bike and I've just strapped it on the outside for now, because I've used one of my sort of waterproof bag liners out of one of my backpacks just to keep it dry. Hopefully it won't rain too much. Okay, so in this box I tend to have everything that is sort of like clothing wise. So a pair of flip-flops straight into those, and a pair of shorts on the top for when you get to site. So straight into my shorts, straight into my flip-flops if it's warm enough. And then I've basically got a selection of really just lightweight 20 litre dry bags, really thin, just to split everything up, make getting it out easier. I've got my shorts, got my wash bag, and then I've basically got a bag full of boxers and socks, a bag full of t-shirts and tops, and then a bag of like a pair of jeans and a few other bits and bobs. And then I have other colours. I have a couple of other bags in there to stick all my dirties in, so I know which ones are which, so I don't have to faff about mixing stuff up. And I've got a Trek towel in the bottom, which works perfectly fine, and a pair of swimming shorts, a head torch. There we go. So that's sort of like everything I'm going to need when I'm on my camps or camping or getting changed or doing whatever. And then I can take that bag out. That's great really, because I can take that in the hotel with me wherever we're going, and then just bosh it back in the bag. Just put it back in there. So that's sort of like my day bag, not my day bag, sort of my night bag if you like, clothes, camping or in hotels. My pannier bag is mainly all my camping gear that I only use at the campsites, or some spare bits and bobs that I probably won't use at all. Then my top box, I have in the lid, I have my waterproof trousers, which is a nice pair of really lightweight, extra large Rab trousers, so they go over my jeans really easy, and I don't have to like rip them trying to get my leg over the bike. A nice Northridge or whatever it is, just a lightweight puffer jacket, which just folds up in there, which is great for going out in the evenings. And then I've got my waterproof over jacket, which is this kind of rubbery one, which came with my Revit jacket, which is a cracking bit of kit. And I use that over the top of my puffer jacket if it's raining. So I've got my warmth and I've got my waterproofness, which is great. And that jacket I've used, I can just go out in that jacket and it just gives me that, and it folds up really small, so it's really light, perfect. So that works really, really well for me. Then I've got my documents, which I carry in the back here. All my sort of V5 insurance documents, driving permits, whatever else we need for wherever we're going. That's all in there, nice and easy to get to if we get into the border controls or whatever. And then because I'm running the cameras, so normally this top box would pretty much be empty and I'd have a bit of space for a bigger sleeping bag or my camping mat or whatever else, and I could stick a bag in there that I could pull out with my day bag in, and then I could put my helmet in there overnight when we're going into places. But I am carrying more camera gear, so this is pretty much full of my camera gear. So in my bag, which I need to take with me as soon as we get off to a hotel or into a campsite, find a restaurant, go and do some charging. In there I got my laptop, my hard drives, and all my cables. So that comes out the bike when I need it. And then I've got spare hats. There's a cable in there. I've got all my hard drive stuff's in there. So that needs that in the red one. There's 2 GoPro boxes, one full of the hard drives, and I'll do a bit of B-roll in this in a minute. That's full of hard drives, and this one is full of all my spares, which doesn't need to come out. And I've colour-coded the little toggle things, so I haven't got to piss about remembering which one's which and checking inside them each time. A couple of spare mounts, which I use this one. This is the Joby 3 kilogram Gorilla thingy, great little thing, and I use that and stick that on my screen, or I can take that into the restaurants and stick this Pocket 3 on it, whatever. Now, I haven't actually done any trips with this Pocket 3 I'm using now. So the last trip I did was in last year, 23, South Italy and back. It's on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. 15-part series. That was the first video I've ever attempted for one of these trips. So for that, I only had the 3 GoPro cameras because I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So I just shot whatever, whenever, and wasn't really prepared to, or geared up to sort of get off the bike, start sort of downloading footage, getting ready, setting up camp, and all the things you got to do, and then trying to take footage of like going out and about. So it was all a bit much really. So this time though, I have bought the Pocket 3, which I'm shooting on now, which I'm going to try and attempt to shoot some more footage around the camp, out and about with the boys. It's just off the bike stuff, and then reduce the amount of bike footage a little bit because it's just endless miles on the road, so that'd be quite good. And I've treated myself to a drone, so I bought the DJI Air 3. I've been practicing with that a little bit on my motocross videos and my enduro videos, which you'll also be on the channel. Hopefully I can get some nice shots from that to add into the footage. That is the top box. That's basically camera gear and jackets and waterproofs, documents, which all goes in there. As we said, like I say, sort of the night bag type stuff in there, all my clothes, and then all my camping gear on this side. And then basically all, sort of whatever I need to hand in the daytime, day camera, batteries, you know, my phone, whatever, is all in sort of in here. It is a bit of a faff, taking all this sort of stuff on and off the bike in the evenings, but I really enjoyed shooting the video last time, and I love watching it back and just reminding myself of where we got up to and what we did. So hopefully I can improve on my videoing skills, because I haven't got any at the minute, and my editing skills, which are all very new. So see how we get on. So I hope that was of some use. Anyway, I'll sign off. If you can follow me or subscribe, hit the notification button, all that jazz, that'd be great. Support the channel. I'm only a tiny little channel with just me, just doing a bit of footage, sticking some stuff up, or what I get up to, cross like the adventure bike riding, the enduro riding, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, sort of standing with giant stuff I've been doing with the drones, and just trying to put some stuff up that I find interesting, and hopefully other people will. So see you in the next one.